Hi, and good evening. I'm Rob the accountant, and I was just sitting here wondering why can't men play in the WNBA? Isn't that discrimination? I mean, what I'm saying here is like you have a level of men who don't make it into the NBA, right? And would be as good enough as women in the WNBA. So why aren't men allowed to play in the WNBA? And so while I go on my little man rant here on all these men that want to be anything but men, I'm curious if a man can be a cheerleader in the NFL, uh, then why can't a man be a basketball player in the WNBA? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, here in the city that I live in Rochester, New York, a track star, a male track star, dethroned a female track star who worked her whole life to acquire the skills necessary to be number one. And, whether we want to agree with everybody's inalienable rights to do whatever they want, I don't think somebody's rights supersede the rights of somebody else in a natural order of things. For example, this girl, one of the things that was most heartfelt for me is she said she challenged herself to close every door so that she could be the best runner. And the one thing she never imagined is that she would be forced to compete with a guy, and that her coaches and the school, which would be RIT, would force her to say, hey, you have to accept this and suck it up. So again, if we've got all this, Rob thinks all this is kind of lunatic, okay? If you're not good enough to be number one in the male sports, then, I'm sorry, you got to go find another career. If you're not good enough to be number one in the female sports, you look at Serena Williams, and I don't really, sorry, I apologize. There's not a whole lot of other women's sports, but I'm sure there's a few top women's golfers. I just don't know who they are. But if you're the top in the women's sport, then you're the top in the women's sport. But again, I'm just asking the world, why can't men who aren't good enough for the NBA play in the WNBA? Comment below. Tell me why men who aren't good enough to play in the NBA cannot play in the WNBA, and why is this not discrimination at its core? I'm Rob. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye for now.